What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Pursuit Live. I'm your co-host, Chris. With me, as always, is my partner in lives, Dave Hawkins Jr. from Urban Pursuit.
What's up, everybody?
And our regular guest had to delay a little bit, so everybody is in for a treat tonight. We actually have a double feature. So, with that, let me introduce our first guest, Mr. Austin Woods from Backwoods Plots LLC. Austin, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
So, couple quick announcements. Number one, we still have some tickets left. All right. So if you haven't entered the raffle, you want to buy more tickets, please reach out to Dave, myself, or Rob. We are raffling off a brand new 2024 lift bow for Matthews with the quiver and the stabilizer, half a dozen Easton arrows, a pack of G5 broadheads, QAD drop away rest, Trophy Ridge React 1 sight. What else? The Delta McKenzie shooter buck target and a ground blind. Am I missing anything else, Dave?
You got it. You'll be saying that in your sleep.
I know. There you go. So if you haven't already, reach out to us. Tickets are still available. So yeah, all the proceeds are going to the American Bear Foundation, Wounded Warriors in Action, and the NYPD Archery Team. It's all going to great causes. $20 gets you in on a $3,000 prize package. You can't go wrong. What else do we got going on, Dave?
Let's talk about some social media accounts. So our YouTube for the show, it's up and running. We got the shows getting posted there. We're interacting fully on that page right now. So for YouTube, when you're searching it, I know a couple of people said they had a hard time finding it. There's two things. Make sure you're typing in the @ symbol when you're searching. So it's going to be @P in Pursuit, and then all caps when you type in live. If you don't type it in correctly, I think we're getting a lot of police chase videos, which is cool, but that's not. So the @ symbol, P in Pursuit, and then all caps in live. So it's case sensitive. Please head over there. I know you're seeing a lot of posts about us kind of pushing that. And to be honest, we're going to keep pushing it for the time being. We do need some exposure on there, without a doubt. It's a new page, so we're just trying to get it up to speed with, let's say our Instagram accounts. And that leads me into the show Instagram. So obviously Pursuit Live Official on Instagram, all one word. Please go follow that page, share it with others if you enjoy the show. It really does help. We could talk about it one day if we want to really break down the analytics and exposure and the algorithm, whatever extent we know about it. But it does help. So please, when we say that, if you like something, just hit that like button. If you like what you're seeing and what you hear and follow along, it's that simple. So those are two things right off the bat. We'll get that off the list, which is important.
All right. So with that, I have an announcement to make as well.
What do you got?
All right. So since we have Austin on, I wanted to announce something that I didn't really put out there yet. So Dave and I had a great time over at the Garden State Outdoorsman dinner with BD Hunting and Backwoods Productions, Broadside Ambush Frank, Wild Pines Pursuits, Pat Valley Outdoors. It was a good time, and I can't thank them enough for inviting us. On the way home, I got a phone call from somebody at a bow. Somebody was going to the bow shop. They were picking up their new bow. So, I'm not going to say there was a little bit of peer pressure. But yeah, we did it. So I know I was saying
you're better off just throwing that thing.
I know.
Yeah, Chris, tell the people.
All right. So Oz, funny story. I actually already threw this bow.
Yeah, bro. I told you. Listen, buddy. Listen. Until you put them big boy pants on and come up here and shoot one of them primes,
listen, I don't know. I'm going to tell everybody right now, the lift, now that I've shot it, it shoots like a dream. It's a good shooting bow. But I do want to say something, because bringing it back to throwing it, using equipment that's not yours, or something that you're not used to, or that's not set up for you. While we were setting the bow up, the bow tech handed me a release, and it's not the normal release that I use. What do I use? I use the Onyx clicker. It's got a full capture with the little bar on the jaw. The one that he gave me didn't have that. So as I was drawing back and rotating my wrist, the D loop actually slipped off of the jaw mid draw and fired the bow right out of my hand. It wasn't a dry fire. There was an arrow on it. But at half draw, that bow misfired and fired the bow right out of my hand. So I did throw the bow when I bought it. And I will say that it still works. It still shoots great. It's right on. It drills. So, you know, Matthew's lift has been abused and does work. I can definitely say that.
So, no comment. I'll plead the fifth.
So again, getting back to the topic of that, listen, I shoot all the time, and this stuff does happen. Like Dave and I say, if you do this long enough, things do happen. So,
yep,
there you go. You know, use equipment
that wrist strap or no?
Oh yeah, it had a wrist strap.
Okay,
but it was a thumb button release that was attached to the wrist strap. But hold on,
not on the bow, like on your holding hand.
Oh no, I don't use a wrist strap.
Oh. Yeah.
What do you think? But yeah, you see, like this has this jaw right here. The release he gave me didn't have that jaw. So basically, as I rotated, the D loop slid right off of that jaw.
Gotcha.
I mean,
not for everybody.
Listen, it happens. But the bow survived. It still shot great. We finished building it, and yeah, the Matthews lift. It's a great shooting bow, and it definitely stands up to a little bit of beating. And I will be taking this to Africa, and we'll see what it does. So, I think we got all the news out of the way. So why don't we kind of dig into the show a little bit here? So Austin, first I want to say thanks for taking the time out tonight. I know this was kind of a last minute thing, and you kind of jumped right into it. So thank you for taking some time out and joining us tonight.
No problem.
Anybody that doesn't know Austin, we've had Austin on the show before. Austin is not only is he a good guy, he's a big supporter of the show. He's a big bow hunter, and he recently stepped out into something he's very passionate about, and that's what we're here to talk about. So if you could kind of start us at the very beginning, like what was your inspiration to take that leap? Like what was your motivation to say, Backwoods Plots, this is what I want to do?
I got a guest coming here in a minute. So what's up, big guy? You can say hi real quick. Say what's up to everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
So really, it was just it kind of just came out of nowhere ultimately. Mike from All Things Accuracy, he called me one day and he was just like, hey, someone's going to message you on Instagram. They want somebody that knows something about food plots to come and look at this area that they're installing on their land. I was like, okay, no problem. The person contacted me. I made an arrangement to go out there and, talked about some suggestions that, I had, what I thought I would do if it were me. And then just kind of building up to that and thinking about it, how like the gears start turning and things just start, well, what if I did this or what if I did that? And it's just like, well, if this works and I'm able to seal this one, then I don't see why I couldn't continue to do it. You know what I mean? I think I know enough about it to do it. So I was just like, all right, let's go. And, I sold the deal. It was, cut and dry. They're like, yep, absolutely. Let's go. Let's do this. So I was like, all right, well, now I got to take the next step because, I got to make sure I'm covered on all ends. I don't want any governmental IRS issues and all that stuff. So, I applied for the LLC through Active Filings, which is a link that Chris actually sent me. And I haven't gotten all the full paperwork back. It's all just still, right in the very beginning stages of all of this. But I just kind of just took the leap of faith, so to speak. It was just like, well, it's now or never. I'm not getting any younger. Let's go do this. And then, understanding that, I have a pretty big support system behind me now with the guys at All Things Accuracy and everything I got going on there. I was like, well, now or never. Let's go. So that was kind of, my thing. I mean, for the longest time, like I said it on the first show I did with you guys. You said, well, what's a goal that you had? And I said, well, I want to be like Grant Woods from Growing Deer TV and Jeff Sturgis. And I said, well, that's my goal. I guess this is the way to start it. And so now it's full steam ahead.
Okay. All right, Dave, why don't you take it from here?
All right.
Let's dig into this story a little bit.
So the name of the company is Backwoods Plots. Being that our audience is growing and not everybody has the same, let's say, hunting background as maybe the three of us here, if you had to, like, say you had to explain what you do for somebody that's just getting into the hunting world, or maybe has no idea at all, what would your business plan? Well, how would you explain that to somebody in like the simplest terms? We know what a food plot is or what a kill plot is. How would you break that down to somebody that's new to the game?
Creating a pit stop on a deer's daily activity to enjoy some delicious food, I guess, if I was going to put it that way.
Really that habitat maybe for them, right? Ample food sources that have different minerals and that helps them get through the year.
Yeah, just creating an overall habitat solution to help maintain your deer herd, keep deer on your property year in and all year versus properties that typically just have deer certain times of the year. You create an environment that allows your property to retain deer all year.
Nice.
Through through custom food sources and habitat management, whether it be creating new trails, using existing trails, burning, hinge cutting, all the different wildlife management techniques that that they have.
All right. Now, is this something you took? Like, did you have any formal education with this? Like any type of
I'm so sorry, but
that's all right. That's all right.
We were talking about it backstage. Kids are great.
Yeah. No, that's all right, but don't worry about it. I was just curious. Like, did you take any like specific classes for this when you were younger, or even just something as you got older? This is just basically you're almost self-taught essentially, right? This is just a passion you have.
I do have. I have the property that my family owns. My uncle is a big. He was a big teacher for me. He taught me a lot of things that looking now, I he got it from somewhere. Where did he get it from? Because this wasn't, it's not a family business. This is not a generational thing for us. So looking at it now, he got a lot of his stuff off of YouTube, and he was able to kind of translate it to me in a way that made sense to us and our particular habitat here in New York State, eastern deciduous forest, that works for us and our property based off of what is around us. And then with that, I was able to kind of build and say, like that was like on a micro scale. I was able to take it and make it a macro scale and say, okay, well, if this works here for us this way, then it's probably going to work here this way somewhere else, and it's going to work this way because the habitat is the same. So it was a lot of piecing together stuff. I can't say I'm self-taught, but YouTube is still a big thing that I go to. Instagram is still a big thing that I go to. Other people that I know have been doing it for years. For me, I've only been doing this on our property for the last 7 years at this point now. So, like I said, it was just kind of time to take the step in the next direction and do something a little bit different, because each acre is different everywhere. So it's just like, if I could do it here, well, it's time to see if I could do it over here.
Very cool. I think that's a stack of their product right behind you there, right? Is that the Domain product line you got stacked up behind you?
Yep, that's a bunch of things from Domain. That is the seed that I use,
Yep.
and currently in the works of making Backwoods Plots a distributor of
Nice.
Domain. So I'm going to build a website, do the whole thing. You'll be able to buy Domain products directly through me.
Very cool. So I am going to hit you with one question. I know this is this could get broken down in many different ways, but if somebody came to you and said, look, Austin, I got 20 acres. I'm in New York State. So in the Northeast here, what would you say is like the most reliable, or what would be like the most go-to product that maybe Domain offers that you would recommend to them? It's easy to work with for somebody who's first time doing a food plot. It's reliable. It'll bring the deer in. What's like that one go-to if you had to pick one?
From the Domain lineup, it's this right here. It's no BS. This is their version of a throw and grow, no till, no disc.
Nice.
Although that term throw and grow, it's kind of misleading a little bit, because you do need a little bit of seed to soil contact. So it's kind of like a minimal work and throw and grow kind of thing. But you do have to, blow or rake back some leaves and get some seed to soil contact. But in terms of easy to use and easy to maintain, and doesn't require, an extraordinary amount of fertilizer or soil tests and going down the whole rabbit hole of what's best for your area. This, you could throw some dirt in the bed of your pickup truck and throw some seed in there, and this will grow right there.
Perfect. Right. It's very resilient. So I would definitely agree. That's like a resilient product, especially when you're not really going to know exactly what's going on. So a little forgiveness. So that's perfect. I'm actually going to end this segment. I wrote down a couple of terms that I think are really related to what you do now with the food plots and everything. Any type of podcast, or if you're scrolling through YouTube, you're going to hear these terms around. And again, I always try and think of that first year hunter or new hunter. So I'm going to hit you with a couple of just simple terms. If you could just explain them in your best opinion, what they mean to you. So the first one, as an example, would be a screen. If you were to plant a screen product for you on the way to your stand, what would you use, or what would a screen be?
Something that's tall or new.
Okay.
So you're screening yourself from eyesight of deer grazing in your plot. And common thing is switchgrass. It gets to that 7 to 12 foot range. Typically is pretty hardy and grows in a number of soil conditions. So
now, in case anybody's wondering, Dave could probably get away with like planting a putting green to his stand, because
Yeah. Well, we could plant this 30 bird right here, and that's like a 4 to 5 foot thing. So
now, is there any nutritional value in that switchgrass for the deer?
No.
Or just a buffer, just giving you
that? So switchgrass, it doesn't. Domain does make a product that is called Incognito. It is a screening product. It is a screening mix, and in that mix, they do have some sorghum in it. So kind of that specific mix acts as a little bit of a double feature there.
Okay. Another term I had written down, and you actually touched it on it already, was that no-till / throw and grow. Yep. So if you were to say that, or you were to hear that, minimal work needed if it was a no-till or throw and grow product.
Yeah. So just like I said before, just blow some leaves off and make sure you got seed on top of soil versus seed on top of pre-existing vegetation or leaves or other type of debris that's on the forest floor, because that's typically that is what you want to use in that little 1/8 of an acre underneath of your stand along that deer trail, where you just need that deer to stop for 45 seconds so you can do what you have to do. You can obviously, of course, plant this on a 80 acre plot if you wanted to, and it would be great, but you can get it in those nice little secluded areas, and just takes a hand rake and and a little bit of water, which comes from the rain.
Perfect. One of the last ones I got would be frost seeding.
Okay, so frost seeding is done depending on the region that you're in around this time of the year, maybe March, maybe end of February, depending on where you live. But it takes advantage of the natural freeze thaw process that goes on when spring happens, when it heats up during the day and it gets above freezing, that 45 to 55-degree mark, and then at night it drops down below that 32-degree mark, and the ground just naturally freezes and contracts and freezes and contracts. When you broadcast your seed into that area that you're frost seeding, the seed just naturally works its way down into the soil, and then when the soil temperature heats up in the later part of the spring, where we're getting to now, it just allows the seed to germinate.
Perfect.
And it's typically used in applications where you're trying to beat the tree canopy, so you don't want leaves on the trees to establish the root systems.
Okay.
And another thing to add is frost seeding only applies to clover seed or other smaller seeds. I have a jar of Comeback Kid right here, which is it's a clover mix by Domain, and I'm gonna try to get it as close to the camera, but these seeds are extremely small. So I mean, you can't even see it. They're so small. So
Now, do you have any issues with the turkeys or any other critters eating the seeds, being that they're going to be exposed for a little bit?
I mean, I'm sure, I definitely have, trail cameras that have said, the day after I seeded, there were, birds in the field, but on in a small eighth of an acre area, that might be an issue. But as you're talking, larger 1, 2, 5, 100-acre properties, birds and turkeys are going to do minimal damage to the seed. They're going to do more damage to the growth of the seed after the fact.
Okay. All right. So, like I said, this is just kind of an intro, a little bit of a teaser, if we will, with Austin and Backwoods Plots. So I figured a couple of terms like that, kind of get everybody used to some of the terminology that I'm sure we're going to talk about more. We're going to try and have Austin back on a little bit later in the summer, like real prime time, food plot time, and pick his brain again. So I'm going to turn it back over to producer Chris and see what he's got.
All right, so I got a couple questions for you, Austin. Now, as far as Backwoods Plots, kind of walk me through exactly the services that you're looking to offer, and kind of gauge this as what are you offering right now versus what maybe a year from now you plan on offering.
Right now, I'm offering full custom food plot and habitat solutions to keep it simple. Anything that can be done on your property to improve your deer habitat, and whether that be a food plot, creating a bedding area, creating deer trails, going in and hinge cutting areas to allow sunlight to the forest floor, so more natural vegetation can grow back in the area. Anything that has anything to do with whitetail habitat solutions, or just overall habitat solutions on any scale.
I guess the question would be where I guess it would be a long-term goal. Where do you see yourself maybe 5 years from now with this?
I would like to be in 5 years. I would love for this to be my full-time job, to be completely honest.
Nice.
And that would be awesome. Not having to work for somebody, be my own boss, and doing something, like this, that, I could look back and say that, it really ultimately started from an Instagram page. You know what I mean? And I'm not even talking about Backwoods Plots. I mean, my personal page, The Woods with Woods, like, it's where it all kind of just culminated, and it, spiral out of control. Like, that would be, to me, honestly, that would be the coolest story that, I think I would be able to tell for a while.
That's what drew me to your page to begin with. Honestly, besides being another New York guy, it was just the constant work you were putting in. And like, I have no food plot experience or land management experience. So to me, it was very, very interesting. You know, it really connects the dots from a different angle as far as food sources and just a different mentality of what these deer are really looking for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your page, even from the early days, was very informative. So it was nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I knew what I was doing. I can't even say I know what I'm doing now. But
How you doing?
you know, I kind of just have this mindset about this is you might know more than me, and that's fine, but I promise you're not going to outwork me. I promise you. Like, that's how I'm approaching this. You're not, just because you know something else doesn't mean you're going to outwork me, and that's kind of how I'm approaching this whole ordeal.
Well, that's a good mentality for anything, my man. Daily life, no matter what it is, that's good. Producer Chris, have we been in contact with our second guest for tonight or not yet?
No, in case anybody didn't see the comment or anybody joined late, this is going to be a double matinee, double feature here tonight. So our regularly scheduled guest had something come up and they had to delay a little bit. So Patrick Alvarez from Bowhunter Brotherhood will be joining us in about 18 minutes. So no, Dave, I didn't hear from him, but I didn't expect to. So when he jumps in, we'll cycle him in and we'll go from there.
Well, that's just more time, then we could do questions. We could do whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, I have a couple questions for Austin before we get started. Everybody, if you want to start dropping questions, out in the comments, we'll get going. But Austin, I got a question for you. Now, we don't live that far from each other. Now, say somebody like me, I work all the time. I don't have time to really get out in the woods and prepare a plot. Now, if I wanted to set up just a small kill, would you recommend getting out there and maybe just doing some kind of throw and go, or somebody who just kind of wants to set something small up and doesn't want to go through a big process of actually changing the landscape? How would somebody who wants to set something like that up go about it? What would you recommend that they do?
Well, you have your spot, obviously, so figure out what your area is, figure out the amount of seed you're going to need, and then depending on your tools that you have, and obviously it's that area that you secluded, you can't bring a tractor or a tiller in. The easiest way to do it is a hand rake, like I said before, rake some leaves out, take a backpack blower or a handheld blower, blow the leaves out. And if you want to get a little bit crazier, rough the dirt up, allow some of the dirt to be a little bit fluffier, if you will, and throw your seed in there. Depending on the amount of sunlight that's reaching the forest floor is the time of the year that you want to do it. If you want it to be an all summer thing and have it all the way into the fall, I would suggest clover and establish it early on in the year, i.e. frost seeding.
Now, what would you recommend as the best time to do a throw and go scenario? Would you pick a day when it's going to rain later that day or night or the next day, something like that? Or is it something that if I have the time, go out, blow out the leaves, clear out the area, throw the seed and just, pray for rain kind of thing?
If your schedule aligns for that, that's ideal. If not, then if it's not going to rain for a week, you'll still be okay. In my opinion, I mean, that's how I think about it. And, it's not going to completely matter. It does need, the seed does need soil contact. It does need moisture of some sort. Once again, the time of the year that you choose to do that, if you choose to do it later in the winter, earlier on in the spring, you typically do have a lot of rainfall this time of year. You do have frost melting. You do have that occasional skip to snow in late March. That it's still moisture of some sort. So that would be the easiest way to do it.
Okay. Before I get into my next questions, Squatch had a question. How do you charge a customer or a potential client? Do you charge by the acre or by the services that they're requiring?
Hey, Squatch, that's a trade secret. I don't think you're going to get that one.
Okay, I guess we'll ask this too. Origins of the Hunt podcast asked what's the best type of security grass in your opinion to plant for cover access to the plot?
Producer Chris is on the ball with the questions, man. He's
whatever it's all area based. So it depends on where you are. In the Northeast, I'm going to do something different than if I was going to do it in Iowa or Indiana, Illinois, someplace like that. But switchgrass is a popular thing. There's I'm trying to think. One of the things, depending on the area, I tell people that you plant cattails. Cattails are a big, tall, swampy area, growth. So that works. But it just definitely pay attention to the area that you're in and what grows in your soil, because some of those screens do require a little bit more, do require you to pay attention to your soil a little bit more.
I've got a random question. Can I hop in here, Producer Chris?
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of anybody introducing bamboo onto their property?
I was just about to ask that too.
Because anytime I've come across bamboo, it is absolutely destroyed from bugs rubbing on it. I don't know why.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you consider what it is and what it what it looks like and how it grows, you can understand why deer would like that.
It's very invasive, though, to my knowledge, right? Like,
yes, it's an extremely invasive. Yeah. Once it gets going, it's really hard to kill, and it takes over, and decimates everything else around it. There's nothing, no sunlight getting into the forest floor at all that allows anything else to grow. It'll choke out full-grown trees, everything else.
Really?
So if you're able to maintain it, I can understand it. I don't think that it's something that I would ever suggest.
Yeah. It was an oddball question. Like I said, we have some of these suburban spots where I'm sure one neighbor started with a small patch and then it kind of like took over like the whole neighborhood pretty much. But I'll throw that out there. If you guys come across a bamboo patch, take a walk through there. I would almost put $1 bet on there. You could find some good rubs. And I don't know why, but that's just my experience with it.
Planting mountain laurel or rhododendron, I would suggest that. That's a good.
Yeah, mountain laurel.
They love that.
Yeah. Were you really going to ask that, Chris?
I was. I was right on that.
All right.
So, all right. I guess we were thinking the same thing.
That's scary.
Yeah, that's.
So, all right. Getting into different seed choices now. If somebody wanted to plant like a hardier crop, say sugar beets or something like that, what would you recommend if they picked something other than clover or grass or something like that? What would be something in the brassica family that you would recommend?
Like you said, I'm a big sugar beets guy, but once again, that's something that you got to have your soil conditions.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you got to have your soil conditions right. You got to have your stuff together, and you got to have your deer herd in check. Because if you have 1 acre of that and you have 50, 70, 100 deer, on your 1 acre, it's gone. You'll never see a beet. You'll just see green tops and they'll be gone overnight. So you got to have, once again, my opinion, you got to have the acreage and you got to have your doe herd in check, because they'll just absolutely decimate it before it ever even gets to that, that tuber state. Not something I typically plant. My soil condition is not quite there. It's not quite ready for that yet. And that's with years of lime and soil conditioner and all that stuff. It is still not where I think it would need to be in order to grow, sugar beets or turnips or, anything like that. And if you could keep deer out of something, if you're able to fence it off, then, by all means, go for it. They love it. And, it's a late season thing when, the snow hits and, regular browse gets scarce, they start digging up those bulbs. Once they start, they can't stop. They love the sugar.
Okay. Origins of the Hunt asked another good question. How often do you recommend rotating your plots?
It depends on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish on your property. There's I don't think that there's a right and wrong answer to that, because there's other methods of seeding your food plots. Like you can overseed into something and crimp it, and you could have a relatively taller crop, and then you could crimp it, which basically means go over, flatten out, and then frost seed clover, or not frost seed, excuse me, but just seed clover back into it. There's a lot of ways that you can rotate plots without completely changing them. But if you find something that the deer like, and they just can't stay out of it, and it works for you, keep going. You know what I mean? I don't think that there's a reason to change it. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Okay.
That's very true. I would say, like, you can almost see, like, I hear a lot of people saying, like, deer have personalities. I mean, like, you could hunt a herd of deer, and each one's different from the next. So, directly to your point, if they're enjoying something you got there and it's working, don't change it. You know what I mean?
Because a lot of times, and goes back to knowing your area. A lot of times, if you introduce something that's not extremely typical for that area, it takes them time to notice that it's there, which ultimately could be a good thing, because it allows it to grow and establish itself to a forageable amount. But other times you could be hunting over a plot of a food plot that you spent all summer working, and the deer don't even know it's there, because they don't know what it is, because you just introduced some random thing to their environment.
Now, with that, say somebody introduces a kill plot, just a small quarter acre, half acre, a clover. Now, how often, I guess, would you say that somebody should reseed that?
It depends on what type of seed you have. Like another two of my favorite mixes are it's Comeback Kid and Hot Chick, and it says it in its name. It's a 5-year perennial seed, so it's going to continue to regrow for the next 5 years as long as you don't alter it.
Okay.
Meaning fill it up or do something different, spray it, kill it, and it's going to continue to grow, for 5 years. So it just depends on what your seed is. They do make annual clover. That is a thing. Clover that will die, at the end of the season and not come back.
Is there a reason you want the annual instead of perennial?
Yes.
You lost permission on that property next year?
Yeah, right. The alphabet boys showed up, found the yellow acorns on the other end. Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, if you were going to come up with a year through year management plan, and you say, okay, well, 1 year I'm going to do clover, the next year I'm going to do something else, that would be an example of why you would want to just an annual clover, something that's going to grow for 1 year.
I would love to have property to do something like this. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not like, oh, I can do this. I wish I actually, I do have property I can do it on.
I was about to say, Dave, come on.
Yeah. I guess I wish it was a little closer than 4 or 5 hours away.
Well, move out of East Jersey then. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just saying,
Right,
but
it's very interesting. It adds a whole nother element to it. Like, all right, we can run cameras now. If you can actually manage your land to the point where you're actually catering to their needs, you're actually building your deer herd, getting them healthy. I just think it's cool. There's an art to it. 100%. There's an art. There's a science to it. If you think of, let me ask you this: if somebody doesn't have success with a food plot or even a kill plot, if you had to pick one factor why you probably failed, what would you choose? What do you think the reason was?
They were shooting at time.
I think that's a loaded question. I don't know.
I don't want to give you a loaded question. Like, do you see a mistake maybe that people make repetitively the first time they're doing a plot?
The biggest mistake is not. I feel like it's just not paying attention to what's going on around you, meaning the woods, like in itself. Like right now in New York, we've had what, like 13 something inches of rain in the last month.
Yeah.
Like if you planted a food plot a month ago and in a wet swampy area, it's done.
Right.
So it's just understanding what you got, and knowing that there's Mother Nature's unpredictable. You can't do anything about what Mother Nature throws at you. But be cautious of it and conscientious of it, and know the other factors that could happen. If you're trying to plant something in the middle of August, well, do we typically have a lot of rain in August in the Northeast? Not really. It's hot and dry. Not going to work because seeds need moisture. They need water. So it's be aware of when you're doing it, how you're doing it.
Okay. Jared asked a pretty good point. Now, is it worth it planting a food plot if farmers plant corn and beans on the same property?
Yeah, because you can plant something that counteracts off of that. So at some point throughout the year, those beans get cut and that corn gets cut. And then now what? You don't want the deer to move to another property, so you plant something that's going to come to healthy fruition at the time that those beans and that corn get cut. And it's going to allow those deer to stay right there instead of migrate over to the neighbor's property who did go out and plant sugar beets or turnips.
Okay. Now I have another question for you. As far as soil testing, now do you provide those services?
Yes.
How important is the soil testing to so like say we go back to the kill plot, just going out there throw and grow clover.
For something like that, typically a clover is extremely hardy, does well in a bunch of different soil conditions. So for something like that, you could do it and say, okay, well, to get maximum results out of this quarter acre kill plot, I need to have my pH at whatever, and that might only take a single application soil conditioner, or it could take something else. So you could do it that way. You know what you have, but a simple clover kill plot, way back in your stand, don't stress over the soil sample. Now, if you have 30 acres of prime flat farmland in southeast Illinois, you're going to want that soil to be the best that it can, so those sugar beets get as big as they can. So that's where those bucks are. That's where those deer are. They're on your property, because that does play a factor in a turnip this big or a turnip this big.
Now, what would be one of the leading causes of either soil being too acidic or even possibly too? I mean, I guess soil doesn't really get too caustic, environmentally engineering speaking. But if you have a soil that's pretty acidic, what would be like some of the typical causes for that?
Clay in the soil, sand, clay. Also the environment that it's in, meaning the amount of sunlight or the amount of moisture that the soil receives, all of that, and what's growing in the soil. Certain plants, certain trees, certain natural vegetation takes up more nutrients from the soil, leaving certain areas of that soil base more drained of nutrients than others. So there's a lot of factors that go into that.
Okay.
Origins had another one, and it might be based on time of the year, but I'll read it. So from Origins of the Hunt, how effective is a plot against an oak flat nearby? And the second part is how to make the plot more desirable long term. And my gut reaction was, what time of year are we talking about?
Well, yes and no. But then so if you're hunting a property and you have an oak flat over here, and bedding's back here, put your plot right in the middle of that. You know what I mean. Use it to your advantage, and yes, time of the year matters. You want something that's going to put deer in front of you in the middle of December in the late season. That's something in the Nebraska family sugar beet, something that they're going to dig up. You want something in the summer, that early season, that's clover, but you're competing with like things like acorns and all that stuff. So use it to your advantage. Know your property. Know what's going on the neighbor's property as well. Obviously within legal boundaries. Don't go walking on your neighbor's property to see what kind of habitat he has, but ask questions. Ask your neighbors. Well, what do you guys got going on? What are you seeing in November? What are the deer over there hitting? What are they? What are they doing? These are what these ones are doing. And, come up with a plan. Do your homework. That's a big thing.
Perfect. No, that's a great answer. Like you said, it's use it to your advantage, 100%. Anything you want to add, Austin? Anything from domain that you could talk about, like a new product, maybe, or anything you want to start wrapping up with before we tell everybody where to find your content?
Yeah. So one of actually the products that I am most excited to use this year. It is new on the domain market, and this is Dirty Bird, and this is a 1 acre bucket of Dirty Bird, and it is a overall habitat solution, meaning that this is not just going to benefit deer, it's going to benefit turkeys, it's going to benefit quail and pheasants, and it's really something to add to your property, not just for whitetail. It's just an overall environmental changer. It's going to get about 4 to 6 feet high. It can be used as a screen if you're around your height, Dave. Or if, how I plan on using it this year is to divide a couple acres that a couple areas that I'm going to use on a big acre plot that I'm going to install. I'm going to use it to break up the sections of mixes that I have. So I have some domain mixes with the Dirty Bird in between it, so you'll be able to differentiate the the different areas.
I got nothing left to say to you.
Just in case everybody's wondering, now it's confirmed. I don't make Dave stand off the sidewalk when we take pictures. All right.
Bullshit. You're always uphill. I noticed your tactic. Always uphill.
Listen, I can't help it that you're like 4'6" and I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
Listen. No. All right. Let's put it all aside. Here we measure the story, not the inches here.
Yeah, right. Said the Irish lad.
Oh God. Well, with that, Austin, why don't you take a minute and tell everybody where they can find your content?
So Backwoods Plots, as of right now, is only on Instagram. It's at Backwoods Plots LLC. And then I have a personal page that has a YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and TikTok, and you could find that at The Woods with Woods.
You got the tiki-taki, huh? No issues.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest poster on TikTok, but I will throw something on there every once in a while.
I'm sure it helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Dave, I hate to break it to you. In case anybody's wondering, head over to Facebook after this.
Yeah.
Look up Urban Pursuit. Hit the follow button. Dave finally, for however young he is, he certainly, acts like a boomer, because Dave finally got a Facebook. So, it's no wonder that Dave doesn't really know about TikTok or anything like that. He's basically been working off Snapchat and Instagram for his whole life.
Waiting for the Vine to come back. It's really waiting for that one.
Damn kids.
It'd be nice to bring back MySpace.
Oh man,
that one.
Maybe some AOL chats.
Oh, now we're talking. Let's bring back AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah,
Elon Musk, if you're watching, sell Twitter and bring back AIM.
Yep.
Basically the service I had before I upgraded my Wi-Fi.
I do want to make another point here in that we're not exaggerating Dave's height because the chief just confirmed Dave is 4 foot 13 inches.
Yeah. Well, we're not the smartest bunch in the family.
But again, let's measure the story, not the inches here.
Yeah.
All right. I do got to talk to you, by the way, because they're not transferring from Instagram to Facebook yet. So I got to talk to my IT department.
All right,
anyway,
Jimmy.
Yes, it's all about, we'll wrap it up with that. It is all about sharing the love. It helps. There's no other way to put it. It helps. Anybody that's got any type of brand or page, anything you're trying to do on social media, those clicks, those interactions, those likes, those comments, they all do help. So just keep that in mind, especially somebody you don't even know. You know, maybe it's a page literally just getting off that week or something, and it's something you happen, you think they're doing a good job, follow them, throw them a couple likes. It all helps out. Awesome. Thank you very much. I mean, we're not really even kicking you out yet, man. We're just at this point. We got a little bit of an open mic session for anybody that's got questions in the comments still. Anything?
Well, Jared wants to talk about squirrel hunting.
Oh,
Squirrel.
okay. I could talk about some squirrel hunting. We can do that.
So let's.
Yeah.
I love squirrel grazing.
Hold on. I have to answer Jared's comment because actually this was something that was on my mind earlier this week, and I don't know why. The solution to this, and if everybody's watching, please take my advice on this and read Jared's comment, and you'll understand. Don't give measurements in inches. All right, it's not about length. Measure the volume, because when you tell them it's XYZ cubic inches, that'll really throw them for a loop.
There's only a C student, man. He's starting to lose me.
I'm an engineer.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, before we get tinfoil hat and banned and shut off the end of the topic, is Jared available to join us until our next guest cops on?
Yeah, what's the deal with Pat? What's he doing? Where?
I don't know. I text him. Do I have Jared's phone number?
Sure. So this is with this new platform here, we are able. Obviously, before it's no problem.
Dave, do you see? Let me ask you this. Well, let's try a little. Can you invite people on your screen?
Oh, you want me to mess with that? Really?
Well, do you see on the bottom a little box where it might say invite?
Yeah, I do actually.
Well, if you got Jared's number, shoot him a message. Even Jason said he wants to come on for a minute there. We got oh, Pat says he's coming on right now.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I could do it,
He's got a tough act to follow.
All right, so we got Pat coming. So just give us a minute here, Oss. I want to thank you.
Yep.
For taking your time out as a last minute emergency and hopping on with us and kind of filling the gap here. And we definitely appreciate it. And if there's anything we can do for you, I may be contacting you about some plot solutions of my own here.
Before you start contacting me about plot solutions, you need to contact me about bow solutions.
Oh,
not for nothing. I got 3 Matthews right now, and I'm perfectly happy with all of them. Out of the Prime, the Hoyt, the PSE, it doesn't matter what I shot. I'm not getting away from the Matthews. That's going to be a hard sell. That's like trying to get me to switch to vodka at this point.
I might drive a hard bargain. I told you, don't knock it till you try, buddy.
Listen. I'm not gonna lie. I shot a Prime, and I just wasn't a fan.
Were you drunk?
No, I was perfectly sober at the time. If I was drunk, I probably would have liked it.
Yeah.
No, all right. Nothing against Primes. It's just out of everything. Personally, when I bought my V3X, I shot the RX5. I shot one of the Primes. I didn't shoot a PSE then because they didn't have the Carbon Air at the time. What else did I shoot? Oh, the flagship Bowtech at the time, and believe it or not, out of all of them, the Bowtech was the worst one that I shot. But I don't know. A lot of people like the Primes. They say with that double cam system, it's a very stable platform. I don't really have anything bad to say. It's just when it was in my hand and when I was shooting it, I wasn't as comfortable as when I was shooting the Matthews. So
That's just because you need to get it done up at the right place. There's something different about those all things accuracy primes.
all right. Listen, I'll take you up on that offer. All right, I'll come shoot it. We'll see what's going on. But for now, I mean, I got 3 Matthews. So
Listen, your next guest's going to talk about it too, so get ready.
oh, that's all right. Listen. I wore the hat for a reason.
You can feel the tension.
All right, let me switch then.
All right, there you go.
All right.
So with that, we're just waiting for Pat, everybody. So just stay tuned, stay with us. We got another part to this episode. So just bear with us. If you want, go pour yourself a drink because we're getting ready.
Yeah, it's the first for us. I don't think we've ever done 2 individual guests in one night. So
well, except for that one test night when we had 10 people on.
Well, no, but that was 2 guest dedicated shows. So this is good. Is anybody watching from YouTube? I would be curious to see how that's looking.
It's hard to tell because on the software it shows me combined Facebook and YouTube, so I can't differentiate. But if anybody's watching from YouTube, drop it in the comments. Tell us what you think so far.
Or even if honestly you got time right now while we're waiting for a second guest, if you back out of Instagram, head over to YouTube. It's where is it? It's at Pursuit, all capital LIVE. Subscribe and let us know how the live stream's looking because I haven't seen it yet. It'd be hard.
In case anybody's having a hard time checking it out because apparently they play a lot of police pursuits on there. So if you're having a hard time, type in Pursuit Live with Mark Ollis, OLIS. If you type that in, then that episode will come up at the top of it, and then you can just click on our link there, and it'll take you right to the page. So, all right, I guess Pat's saying his wife's car died and he needs a little more time. So,
Jesus Christ, Pat, you're killing me.
So if ever I don't know,
take care of that. Why don't we finish out tonight? If his wife's having car issues, we can reschedule him or something.
All right. So if you want, we can always get Jason on and shoot the shit for a minute.
I think let's do that. Tell him that it's all good. Again, this happens. It's real life. We get it. We'll keep him to the front of the list for next time, without a doubt. And yes, let's get whoever wants to come on before. We'll get them on for a little bit. It's a live show, people. Sometimes things like this happen. It's all good. So, Jason, if we still got Jason in here? Still anybody? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, Jason, hang tight. We'll get you on. We'll bring you on the StreamYard here. And then... All right, Gloria's saying the YouTube is looking good, so that's good. Give me a birthday shout out. I guess it's Gloria's birthday. Happy birthday, Gloria.
It's not Gloria's birthday. It's not until tomorrow.
Oh, all right. Well, happy early birthday, Gloria.
And yes, Gloria. I was going to give you a birthday shout out at the end, but now you're not getting one. Sucks to be greedy, I guess.
How is everybody liking in the comments? Do we like this new StreamYard layout? Is the quality a little better? Can you hear us good? Can you see us good? I mean, we're kind of committed to it at this point. I ain't gonna lie. But I think it's a little bit better than just the Instagram platform. I mean, how do you like it, Austin? A little bit better?
Yeah, I can't really tell the difference, to be completely honest. I just don't think I have my phone turned the right way right now.
Okay.
So I think that's something to make in the future. Make sure your phone's turned the right way instead of vertical.
Gotcha. All right, that's saying the quality seems to be the same. All right, so we're rolling with the punches tonight. It was still a great show. Again, we're gonna have Austin back on. I mean, what's prime? What would you say is like prime time food plot season for like the Northeast here?
Right now, it's getting into it. Within the next 2 months,
Okay.
and then again, maybe at the end of August, depending on what you have planned for your property. But right now is go time.
That makes sense. Right. Because by the middle of the summer, you want everything already well established and on its way and healthy. Gotcha. That makes sense. And not for nothing, here in New York, especially, it's all legal. We can't run an ounce of mineral. We can't run nothing.
No.
So it's perfectly legal if it's growing out of the ground. Water holes, that's another thing. That got brought up quite a bit last storm season because, again, here in New York, it's tricky. It's like,
Jason said hurry up and send him the link. Apparently it's getting dark there.
Am I sending that?
Yes, I don't think I have Jason's number.
Oh.
Which we'll fix after the show, Jason.
All right. Well, hopefully I don't mess this up here. If I minimize this, Chris is going to close this out.
I don't think so. That's why it's called minimizing, Dave.
All right. You see,
just keep in mind when you minimize it, we can still see everything that you do.
Yeah, I know. I figured that. You guys think it's so easy working with producer Chris. Wait till you share a hotel room with this guy.
What do you mean?
Which one snores the worst?
Dave, hands down.
That's a competition.
Listen. I might sound like a Mack truck, but I don't even know what Dave sounds like. Dave is on another level.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'll put it this way: I have a CPAP machine, and I still snore. So I'm beating a machine. I'm having issues right now, Chris. I ain't gonna lie. I can't copy and paste on the MacBook. I don't know why.
What do you mean? You click the invite.
I did.
Then you hit copy because there's literally a button that says copy link.
I know. I can't paste it in the text messages.
That you right click in the text box and hit paste.
I promise you it's not working. Well, we might be wrapping up a little bit.
You can't make this. All right, listen. New software, new everything, and Dave's back to the same old technical problems.
Wow, we're doing good. Everything went good tonight. We're rolling with the punches, man. We're making it work.
And no, Jared, he doesn't have a BlackBerry. He's like working off one of those little like flip phone sidekicks.
Those are great, those things.
Oh my god.
Dude, I miss the BlackBerry days.
Let's bring back Nextel. We get it all over with.
Yeah, the bleep to talk.
Now we're talking. I'm surprised you're old enough to remember Nextel, Dave.
The old yellow and black Nextel, man, I think it was great.
Oh, dude, you could throw that thing at a moving bus and it would still work.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. I promise you the copy and paste was not working. I will work on that. We can end it. If anybody wants to talk about anything in the chats, I don't want to, drag this out longer than it needs to be. It was great having Austin on. You guys make the call. It's the people's show. I got half a drink and a little bit of cigar left, so I'm happy.
The people's show. That sounds too communist for us.
Yeah, it sounds like it comes on after the View.
Everybody get the tinfoil on the way out, and hopefully they don't get canceled.
Welcome to Pursuit Live with my co-host Montel Williams. Better yet, Jerry.
I was going to say go Ricky, but
okay, now we're really bringing it back.
Yeah. Love me some Ricky Lake.
Oh, my boys from work are all joining. What's up? All right. Leo joining at the end of the show. Leo, welcome.
All right, guys. Despite I tried on my phone as well, Chris. It wasn't working.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Dave.
So
what are we going to do with you?
That's an improvement. It happens. So
all right, so we're going to have a counseling session after the show, ladies and gentlemen, and get Dave squared away. This isn't going to look good on his quarterly review. And if you guys all want to send me your comments on Dave's performance, I will incorporate that in his performance evaluation.
I'll get right on that.
All right. So with that, Austin, if you want one more time, tell everybody where they can find your content.
On Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at the Woods with Woods, and then as of now, Backwoods Plots LLC on Instagram.
All right. With that, Dave, you got any parting thoughts?
I'm fired, I guess it sounds like, so I'm good. I'll take the rest of the night off.
All right, Gloria, guess what? You're getting promoted to co-host.
There you go. Good for
All
you.
right, so thank you everybody for joining. I know this was kind of another change, but again, it's real life. It's a real show. It's live, and we roll with it as it comes. So, Austin, thank you again for taking the time out. That was huge of you, and I can't thank you enough for stepping up. So,
No problem, guys. Had to
with
bail that somehow.
So with that, if you haven't already, please message Dave or myself for our 2024 charity fundraiser. We are raffling off a Matthews lift with the stabilizer, the quiver, a QAD drop away rest, Trophy Ridge React 1 Pro sight, half a dozen Easton arrows, pack of G5 broadheads, Delta Mackenzie shooter buck target, and a ground blind. $20 gets you in. It's like a $3,000 prize package, guys. So all the money is going to the American Bear Foundation, Wounded Warriors in Action, and the NYPD archery team. So $20 gets you a chance at an awesome prize package, and you're helping out 3 great organizations. So with that, please, after the show, head over to YouTube, check out at Pursuit Live, all one word, smash that subscribe button. If you're not following already, head over to Pursuit Live Official on Instagram, smash that follow button. And then if you have Facebook, go over and help Dave out. He is once again asking for your friendship support. Head over to Facebook, type in Urban Pursuit, and find
a fully promotional Sarah McLachlan video.
Thank you, Austin, because there will now be a meme about that. In a couple hours, everybody, you'll be seeing that video. Yep. Head over to Facebook, type in Only Bows.
I start sending donations. I'm fucking keeping them. I'll find you some cheap blankets, but I'm keeping it.
Oh God! So, thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode of Pursuit Live. Catch us every Friday night at 7:30, right here on not only Instagram but now YouTube and Facebook. With that, everybody, thank you. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Take it easy.